When we think of a genius, we usually picture a loud, dramatic movie character. Someone scribbling complex equations on a glass window, debating people with aggressive confidence, or constantly correcting everyone in the room. But real cognitive psychology tells a completely different and much quieter story. The truth is, extremely high IQ individuals rarely look like the geniuses we see on screen. In fact, some of their most common cognitive traits don't look like intelligence at all. To the untrained eye, they often look like social awkwardness, hesitation, or even laziness. Today, we're looking at the actual science of high intelligence. Here are 7 highly unusual psychological signs that prove your brain is operating on a completely different frequency. The first sign is that socializing feels like a heavy cognitive tax. For most people, hanging out with friends is how they recharge. But if you have an exceptionally high IQ, the opposite is often true. A famous study published in the British Journal of Psychology found that highly intelligent people actually experience lower life satisfaction when they socialize too frequently. Why? Because a high IQ brain doesn't just listen to a conversation. It processes everything simultaneously. It analyzes micro expressions, looks for underlying patterns, predicts where the conversation is going, and filters out background noise. To a highly active prefrontal cortex, a noisy party isn't just fun, it's an intense data processing storm. If you need massive amounts of solitude, it's not because you dislike people, it's because your brain needs silence to clear its cache. The second sign is struggling to start the things that matter most to you. Have you ever noticed that you can finish small, boring tasks instantly, but when it comes to a major project you actually care about, you freeze? You procrastinate for days, weeks, or even months. Most people call this laziness. Psychologists call it complexity awareness. Average minds see a task as a simple, straight line, start here, end there. But a highly intelligent brain instantly visualizes the entire 3D chessboard. You see every potential roadblock, every design flaw, every critical review, and every single way the final product could fail to match the perfect, flawless vision in your head. You aren't avoiding the work because you don't care. You are avoiding it because you care too much. And your brain is overwhelmed by its own brilliant ability to predict complexity. The third sign is that you are incredibly comfortable saying, I don't know. In a world full of people who have loud, aggressive opinions on things they barely understand, the highly intelligent person is usually the quietest. This is the classic Dunning-Kruger effect in reverse. When your cognitive capacity is high, you understand that almost nothing in this world is simple. Every single topic has layers, history, exceptions, and deep nuance. Because you can see the sheer scale of what you don't know, you lose the urge to pretend you know everything. When a genius says, I don't know, it's not a lack of confidence. It's scientific precision. They refuse to guess when the truth demands accuracy. The fourth sign is that your brain has no sleep mode. Do you find it nearly impossible to quiet your mind, especially when you're trying to sleep or relax? Neuroimaging studies show that highly intelligent brains have incredibly rich, hyper-connected neural pathways. Instead of processing information in isolated pockets, a high IQ brain constantly bounces ideas across distant regions of the mind. While you are washing dishes, your brain is quietly running a background simulation of a conversation from 3 days ago, redesigning a workflow, and wondering how gravity behaves near a black hole. It's like having 50 tabs open in a browser at all times. It is exhausting, but it's simply how a highly connected neural network functions. The fifth sign is that you feel the world with an intense, unfiltered depth. There is a massive myth that smart people are cold, robotic, and emotionally detached. Science says the exact opposite. High intelligence is highly correlated with what psychologists call emotional overexcitability. Because your brain processes stimuli at a deeper level, you don't just notice sensory details, you absorb emotional ones. You might find yourself deeply moved by a piece of music, intensely bothered by a minor social injustice, or physically exhausted after spending time around someone who is stressed. You possess an emotional depth that you often have to hide or regulate, simply because showing its true scale would overwhelm the people around you. The sixth sign is cognitive plasticity, or treating your beliefs like software rather than your identity. To most people, their beliefs are who they are. If you challenge their opinions, they take it as a personal, offensive attack. But a highly intelligent mind operates on cognitive flexibility. To you, an opinion is just a working hypothesis. The moment new, credible data arrives that contradicts what you believed yesterday, you don't get defensive. You update the software. You don't care about being right. You care about knowing what is right. This ability to discard old ideas without hurting your ego is one of the rarest and most powerful traits of a truly advanced mind. The seventh sign is that you speak only when the data is complete. In social meetings or group discussions, do you find yourself staying quiet for the first 20 minutes? While others are rushing to speak to mark their territory, the high IQ mind is in data gathering mode. You are observing the room's dynamics, who is defensive, what is left unsaid, and where the real problem lies. You aren't quiet because you have nothing to say. You are quiet because you refuse to speak until you have mapped out the entire landscape of the conversation. When you finally do speak, you don't just add noise, you offer the solution. Living with an exceptionally high IQ is like viewing the world in 4K resolution while everyone else is watching in standard definition. It is beautiful, it is detailed, but it is also incredibly overwhelming. The next time you feel like you don't fit in, or you wonder why your mind refuses to just be normal, remember, your brain isn't broken. It's just processing more of reality than the world was built to handle. Which of these signs hit closest to home for you? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If this gave you some clarity today, hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend who needs to see it, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.